again YouTube, Mad Dog here, welcome back to my channel. So this video is a bit of a response video and a bit of a continuation on my video where I showed some advice basically when using a button compass, especially the ones on the back of a survival bracelet. While showing that video I used my silver compass as a comparator, and one of my viewers, one of my friends commented on the beads that I have on my lanyard. What are they? Where'd you get them from? What they for? You know, sort of being a nosy old sod like he is. So I'm doing a bit of a response video to that. Now from the offset, a lot of you guys and lasses will already know this. They're well used, well proven. But for those of you that don't, I'm going to try and explain as best as I can what they're for and where they're used. So getting to it, on my lanyard around the compass I have the knot, which is roughly obviously the centre of the lanyard, and to one side I have 9 beads. They're all a bit awry there, so I have 9 beads basically on that side, and on the other side I have 5. Now these are pacing beads or ranger beads, a method that's been used for hundreds of years and in my opinion is still valid and still an important form of a navigational aid, let's say, when you're walking or hiking in an environment where, especially if long range visibility isn't necessarily doable. So anyway, cracking on. So pacing beads, let me try and explain this very basically for people that again are new to this. So when you're pacing a route or distance, you always start off on your left foot. Every time your right foot hits the ground, 1 pace. So let's say we're on a sports field. You've got a 100-metre track, it's marked out for you, it's measured, it's accurate. At the very start line you start off with your left foot. Left foot, right foot, 1 pace. Left foot, right foot, 2 paces. Left foot, right foot, 3 paces. So every time your right foot hits the ground, you've travelled 1 pace, having started out on the left foot. That's important to remember, that as simple as it sounds. So I know that with my height, an average load of 30 pounds in a rucksack, which is an average middle baseline load, over 100 metres, my average pace, distance, not taking great big robotic style leaps, steps or short ass mini steps, I know my average normal walking pace is 60 steps per 100 metres. So back to the lanyard, 9 beads, you can see where I'm going with this. 1 bead is 60 steps, 100 metres. 60 steps, 120 steps, 200 metres. 180 steps, 300 metres, and so on, until I've moved all 9 beads down my lanyard. Once I've done that, I know I've travelled 900 metres, okay? In which case the next 60 steps I count, I'll drop one of the 5 down there. That's 1,000 metres, 1k. And by doing so I will move or reset my smaller increments of 100 metres back up to the knot end of my lanyard. It is a pain, but it's well worth doing. Put it back around my neck and I know that I've travelled 1,000 metres, 1k. Okay, why is this useful? Where do we need to use this? So what I've done, I've made a little bit of a make-believe map here just to try and show and explain the theory. So on the map, what we've got here is due north, and travelling from west to east is a river flowing that way. Right at the top there, to the west I have a hill, you can see the contours of the hill. To the east I have some woodland, and inside of that woodland is my camp base that I'm trying to find. Due south of that camp there is a large lake, and in between all these features is the trail or pathway which we intend to walk or hike. So we know that for every 60 steps we travel 100 metres. Now using the scale on my compass, across the top and the bottom there, I've measured the map, the grids on the map, and using the key that is supplied with any map, I've figured out that from the start of my path to the bend of the path is 500 metres. 500 metres in paces equates to 300 paces, or 5 100 beads. So I know when I get to that bend in the path or the trail that if I look to my west I should see the start of that hill. If I look to my east I should be able to see across the widest point of the lake, and knowing that, I know that I'm in the right direction, I'm going the right ways at the right time. So I'll then proceed to walk a further, due north again, a further 500 metres, which I should have also have added 300 paces to my count, or another 500 metre beads. I only have 9, so I drop 9 down, and then 1,000 1k beads should be down, and the rest will be reset as per my demonstration. So when I get to this point, when I look due west, I should be able to look across and see the highest point of the hill. To the east I should be able to see the woodland, and hopefully I should be able to make visual contact with my base camp, my camp. If I walk too far, I'll come to a river, which is called basically a backstop. I know that I've travelled too far if I'm at the river. So what I will then have to do is travel due south back to my last known counting position, which would be here, which would be the second run of the 500 metre pacing. So I should have 5 beads at that point on my line and start pacing out my 60 count again until I've got a further 5 beads, which should bring me in line with my camp. I hope that makes sense. Now this method is very useful if you're in an environment, like I say, where you can't see for miles ahead, or you're in a whiteout situation like snowy or desert situation. Pacing is very important. But what I would also suggest, I'm going to pan around back here a ways, is don't just measure out 100 metres and walk it, because you will walk very robotic like to start with. It's something that's like a subconscious thing. You've got to walk as naturally as you can whilst counting your paces. So what I would suggest you do is mark out 500 metres if you can, or further, and just gently take a stroll whilst counting your right foot, or get somebody to follow you and have a chit chat, but let them count your right foot to get a true, accurate, average pace per 100 metre reading. Take a 500 metre walk and divide it by 5. You get the picture. It gives you a good average, which is more accurate than doing a robotic march, great big strides. Not good. And vice versa, we're taking little iggly-piggly steps like a fairy. Not good. You need to be as accurate and as natural as you can when doing your initial pacing setup. And always check yourself, always recalibrate and check yourself when using this method. So I hope that sort of makes sense to you. If it doesn't, please leave a comment below and I'll try again. I'll probably go out and demonstrate it actually outside and try and explain myself better. I'm not very good at explaining myself very well, but basically that's what these beads are. They're called ranger beads or pacing beads. Again, you can add as many of these 1k 1000 metre beads as you need or require. I use 5 because 5,000 metres, nice round figure. There is 1.6 k to a mile, I believe. So if you can over budget and say there's 1,000, there's 2,000, you've travelled over a mile. 1.6 k is a mile, so it's like a mile and a quarter ish. So it gives you a rough idea. And for an old fart like me, when you've done 5,000 metres and reset and start again, you know, it's within the ballpark of what you're going to be doing for, you know, a day's walk, a day's hike. So I hope you find some of this useful. If not, please let me know below, and again I'll try and explain myself a bit more clearly. But for those of you that know this inside and out, I apologise for the redundancy, but this is basically aimed at newcomers or people that are just starting out or don't have any previous hiking experience. So thank you all very much for watching. Stay safe out there, enjoy the outdoors, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you all soon on the next one, which won't be long as always. Take care. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah!